All right, welcome. We will be getting started in just a few moments. We've got people filtering in, so we're just going to hang tight for just a couple of minutes. Let everyone come on into the meeting, and then we will start the presentation. Give it just a few more minutes here, maybe just one more minute. Hope everyone is having a good day today. Got an exciting agenda here for you. Excited to dive in, cover some great information on a really good program. Just a few more seconds. All right. Let's go ahead and get things rolling. Welcome, everyone, to the Alameda Municipal Power EV Charging for Alameda Residential Multifamily Housing webinar. My name is George Koff. I am a program manager at Clear Result. And also on the screen, you should be able to see Steve Wilcox. Steve is one of our EV charging program support staff, and he will be monitoring the chat and the Q&A and the lobby and just helping people get in. If you have any technical questions around the Microsoft Teams meeting, Steve is happy to help with that. Just a few items about today's webinar. Today's webinar will be recorded. We will be posting a video later. All attendees are in listen-only mode, meaning your mics and cameras are disabled. If you have any questions, you can use either the chat or the Q&A, and we just ask that any comments you submit are respectful. Few quick disclaimers. AMP's EV Charging Technical Assistance Program serves as a vendor-agnostic, neutral, third-party technical expert to AMP customers. So any reference to any products and or services during this webinar should not be interpreted as either an implicit or explicit endorsement. And vendors should not use this webinar to promote their products and or services. So with all of the legal stuff out of the way, let's dive into today's agenda. We'll do some quick introductions. We'll have Edward give us a quick overview of Alameda Municipal Power with some information on rebates, and then some information on the EV technical advising program we have here for you. And then we have a very exciting featured guest speaker. We have an actual case study, so it'll be very exciting. So in a moment, Edward Nguyen is going to be taking over for as a speaker. He's our program manager at Alameda Municipal Power. Also on the call today, we have Sam McIntosh and Mickey Friedman, who both work as Clear Result personnel on this program. And then we have our featured speaker, Steve Smith. So with that said, I will hand it over to Edward.
Thanks, George. Hi, everyone. My name is Edward Nguyen. I'm a program manager at Alameda Municipal Power. My role is to manage the clean transportation and rebate programs here at the utility. So just to get started, Alameda Municipal Power was founded in 1887 and is the oldest community-owned electric utility in California. AMP's mission is to provide safe, reliable, environmentally responsible, and low-cost power to the city of Alameda. Being a locally owned utility allows AMP to prioritize our customer values. And so as of 2020, AMP is proud to provide its customers with 100% clean energy, and AMP continues to work towards a greener and cleaner Alameda through its initiatives, incentives, and electrification programs, like the Electric Vehicle Charging Technical Assistance Program, which provides technical assistance and access to incentives for EV charging. So for today's takeaways, we want to make sure that everyone knows that there's funding available for multifamily properties and that there are resources such as the EV technical advising program. So this is a complementary program that is offered through our partners at Clear Results. So as you can see, the current EV landscape is booming. In 2024, 1 in 3 cars sold in Alameda County was an EV. This indicates a strong expansion of EV adoption here in the Bay Area. And we believe that it will only be a matter of time before a majority of multifamily residents will be driving plug-in vehicles, and we want to provide you with the resources to be ready for that change. So please note that multifamily property must have a minimum of 4 units and be within the social justice 40 boundary, which is this purple area on the map, to qualify for the program incentives. However, please still reach out and check if we have eligibility or space for the EV technical assistance program. So reach out to us and then we can see what resources that we can provide for you. So let's see. So this will be an overview of all of our actual rebates for multifamily properties. Outlets, whether they're level 1 or level 2, require the driver to use the EV supply charging cord to plug in their vehicle. Conversely, a charging station will have its own cord which plugs into the vehicle. The rebate amounts per port and maximum ports funded vary according to charging type and quantity. As you can see, the range includes up to $3,000 per level 1 or level 2 outlet, $8,000 per level 2 port if serving 1 to 3 spaces, or up to $50,000 or 75% of project costs, whichever is less if serving 4 or more spaces. The multifamily property must have four or more units to qualify for incentives. The EV chargers must be located in a shared parking location, or if installed at assigned parking areas, the chargers must serve all residents assigned spaces. And then we'll review the different charging types later in the presentation. And then feel free, we have AMP has a lot of different programs available, so please visit our website or scan the QR code to sign up for technical assistance. As for the process for rebate applications, please confirm with AMP if the rebate budget is still available. We always just want to make sure that there's funding for our participants. Then complete the project, complete installation with building permits, etc. Then you can submit the application. Once we do a review process and we confirm that the installation has occurred and it meets all of the program requirements, we'll send you a rebate check. So a little more about who Clear Result is. Alameda Municipal has brought on Clear Result as a program partner. Clear Result is the largest provider of emission reducing energy solutions across America, and we've been responsible for hundreds of EV chargers installed throughout the Bay Area over recent years. And so now I'll pass it over to Sam McIntosh to talk more about the program.
Thanks a lot, Edbert. Much appreciated. George, would you go back to slide 10 real quick, if you don't mind? So I just wanted to point out to folks that I put a link in the chat to the priority communities map. So if you click on that link either now or later, you'll be able to look up your address within the city of Alameda and see whether you would qualify for incentive. And then just as a reminder, all multifamily properties within the city of Alameda are eligible for technical assistance, but only those within the purple social justice 40 areas are eligible for the incentives. All right, so thank you, George. We'll go back to slide 15, if you don't mind. Okay, so as Edward has already touched upon, EV ownership is and will continue to be on the rise in the Bay Area. Before too long, some or all of your tenants will be driving EVs, so now's the perfect time to explore EV charging possibilities for your property while the incentives are still available. Imagine, if you would, how much more difficult it would be to attract and retain tenants if there was no on-site parking at all. Soon enough, renters will view parking spaces with EV charging capability the same way they view normal parking spaces now. In other words, basically essential. The beauty of this program is that the complimentary technical assistance allows you to at least see what's possible and to get an idea of estimated costs without any obligation to proceed with an installation. All right, we'll go to the next slide. So if you decide to move forward after today's meeting, the next step would entail a pre-site visit call, followed by an actual site visit where one of our energy engineers would conduct an evaluation of the electrical and physical considerations specific to your parking lot and property. From there, based on what's technically possible, we'll present you with a report detailing one or more options that will include the rebate amounts and net project costs. We'll also offer support during the bidding, installation, and rebate procurement stages as well. The important takeaway here is that our job is to support you throughout the entire process. Okay, our scenarios may include different quantities or types of chargers, giving you different options according to your preferences and accounting for available electrical capacity and other on-site variables. We always include cost estimates, which will help you decide on a scope of work that you would ultimately send out to bid. It's important to reiterate that we have been brought on by AMP to provide unbiased consulting services. Our job is to answer questions, support your project, and help you determine a scope of work for when you're ready for electrical contractors to submit bids. If you proceed with an installation, you would pay the installing contractor, not AMP or Clear Result. Next, please, thank you. Following our site visit, we'll provide you with a charging evaluation report. This is a project overview based on your desired amount of charging infrastructure, your current electrical configuration and capacity, and other site-specific particulars such as the distance between EV charging spaces and your electrical service. We'll identify necessary upgrades, if any, and we'll provide an estimated project budget, including the total out-of-pocket amount for you to consider. This is an example from the report itself. The charging evaluation report will be used as the basis for the installers who bid on your project. Okay. So on that note, we have a list of trade allies who we vetted and who are interested in bidding on projects within the city of Alameda. So sometimes a customer might have their own electrician which they want to work with, and that's fine. We can help prepare the request for bid and send to that party, or we can include that party amongst our other trade allies. It's up to you, but we're here to support you with that process. Okay, next slide, please. So this slide shows the sample project cost and includes the rebate amount and total out-of-pocket expenses. This is a hypothetical project featuring 6 level 2 charging ports. And as a quick aside, we'll get into the charging types like level 1, level 2 shortly here if you're not familiar with those. But again, this project features 6 level 2 charging ports and shows the estimated total and net costs. Note the project cost may vary significantly, especially when trenching through concrete is required. And no need to take notes. Just a reminder, we'll send this slide deck to all participants later this afternoon. Okay, so let's step back for a moment or two to become more familiar with the different types of EV charging equipment, also known as EV supply equipment or EVSE. So as you can see here, level 1 charging equates to a standard 120 volt outlet. This type of charging is found almost exclusively in residential settings. Level 2 charging is faster. You might find these at a residence where they can connect to 240-volt outlet or in a commercial or public setting. And then level 3 chargers, they're the fastest type of charging equipment, and they're typically found in commercial or public areas. Note that only level 1 and level 2 chargers are incentivized by AMP. On this slide, you can see different technical requirements and charging times inherent to the various types of EV supply equipment. Yeah, again, AMP rebates only apply to level 1 and level 2 chargers. So level 1 chargers, although they're slower, they are appropriate for residential settings where the vehicle is parked anytime the driver is at home. For example, even at the relatively slow rate of 3 to 5 miles of driving range per hour of charging, a level 1 charger would provide roughly 60 miles of driving range for someone who is parked at their residence for 16 hours, which includes overnight. So although 60 miles wouldn't fully charge an EV's battery from 0 to full, it does meet the majority of EV drivers' daily commuting needs. Level 2 chargers, which charge vehicles significantly faster than level 1 chargers, are suitable for both residential and commercial settings. And as you can see, they charge EVs at a rate that is more than sufficient for residential settings. And then level 2 outlets, like the level 2 station, they use a 240-volt circuit, but typically at 20 amps, as opposed to a level 2 charging station circuit, which is typically 40 amps. As such, level 2 outlets charging speed is in between level 1 outlet and a level 2 station. Finally, level 3, or sometimes called DC fast chargers, they'll charge plug-in vehicles at the fastest rate, but are considerably more expensive, much more expensive, and less likely than level 2 chargers to work within the existing electrical service and capacity of the vast majority of multifamily properties. All right. So next slide. This is just a nice visual representation of the different charging types under discussion, which we just reviewed, ranging from the level 1 trickle charging up to the low power level 2, the garden hose, and then the fire hose on level 2, and finally the waterfall of power provided by the level 3s. Okay, so now we're going to move on, and we'd like to share a case study with you. And this is about AMP customer who's recently participated in the program. The address is 930 Pacific Avenue. It's an old Victorian, originally constructed in 1889. 4 tenants, 4 units. The existing infrastructure was upgraded fairly recently, so it had 500 amps service on the main panel. This customer, Stephen Smith, installed 4 level 2 chargers. And with that, I would like to introduce Stephen Smith. Stephen, welcome, and thank you for taking the time to share your experience with us.
Happy to be here, Sam.
Great. So, Steve, if you would just start off by telling us about what was your motivation for installing EV chargers in the first place?
I have a 4-unit building. One of the tenants already had an electric car, and we had sort of jerry-rigged this system that was working for him, but it really was inadequate. And one of the other tenants is thinking about buying a new car and was thinking if there was a hookup, would get an electric. So it seemed like a good time to move forward.
Sounds good. And then if you could share just overall your experience with this free AMP technical assistance program.
My experience has been great. It's actually nice to give some kudos to Sam. This never would have happened without him. He was really very patient, and there were several hiccups along the way, but he very patiently helped me navigate those and gave me a lot of good information. I mean, Sam reviewed pretty much everything that came through, and both when I had some problems with AMP and I had some problems with one of the contractors. Well, it wasn't even a problem with the contractor, but it was a problem with I didn't know what I was looking at, but Sam did. So Sam gave me some advice that turned out to be pretty good, saved us all some money.
Sounds good. I appreciate that. And then what's the experience of your tenants so far? I understand one has an EV and another may intend to purchase one. Is that right?
Yeah, we still only have the one, but he's perfectly happy with it. It's easier for him, and it charges better. It charges a lot faster.
Great. And then, how helpful were the incentives and how important were the incentives in your decision to go ahead and install the chargers?
I would not have probably done it without the incentives.
Great. Yeah. And then was the trade ally list, our list of electrical contractors, was that a helpful element of the technical assistance?
Yes, it was. It looks like the one I ended up using was not listed there anymore. But yeah, that was helpful too. I have a local electrician that I've worked with a lot. Turned out he wasn't so interested. Yeah, it was something different. He didn't want to do it. I did get a proposal from one, turned that one down, ended up with another one that I was really very, very happy with.
Great. In that part, that contractor is on the most recently updated trade ally list. We might have put an older version up on the slide deck.
And
and
I could pitch them too, to definitely get a bid from Coil. They were totally professional. I have done a fair amount of work, construction kind of work over the last couple of years. So when you find a good contractor, you like to spread the news, and they're totally professional from top to bottom, start to finish.
It's great to hear. What about if you were to give one piece of advice to a site host, maybe someone on the call who's considering and selling EV chargers, what would that be?
I guess it would be patient.
Yeah.
Things don't always move quickly, although that was probably as much my fault as anybody's. And anytime you're doing any kind of construction with a contractor and the city with permits, and there are always going to be hiccups. But I'm glad at this point, I'm glad I went through with this process.
That's good feedback. Yeah, totally agree. These installation projects involve a lot of different parties, a lot of new information. Most people, most multifamily owners or managers aren't super familiar with a lot of these processes, and it can take a long time, and there's just a lot of variables. So it is helpful to have a neutral third party providing technical assistance as you take the project from inception to installation. Well, this is great feedback, Steve. I appreciate it. Anything else you want to add before we set you free for the day?
No, except I would say if anybody ever wants to come and take a look, feel free.
Oh, that's very nice of you to offer that. Yeah. And folks, you can see the 930 Pacific Ave, his address is on the deck, and we'll be sending that out later today. But with that, Steve, thank you so much, and we really appreciate you coming on the call.
Thank you.
Okay, so if anyone is interested in moving forward after today's call, the next step would entail formally enrolling in the program, followed by a site visit. And again, during the site visit, our energy engineer will come on site and conduct an evaluation of the electrical and physical considerations specific to your property. So if you have your smartphone on you now, that QR code will take you right to the enrollment form, and it's a simple, really quick, easy form to fill out. And once received, we will reach out to you about next steps. So, to continue on after the site visit were to occur, then we will have all the information that we'll need to provide you with the charging evaluation report. Okay. So George, we have talked about next steps. We are on to the questions tab, I believe. And at this point, be happy to answer any of your questions. George, I don't know if people are able to unmute, so I would invite folks to type their questions in the chat window if they have questions, and I'm looking at that chat window right now.
Yeah, the participants are not able to, as we were discovering with Steve, not able to unmute or free up their cameras, but definitely the chat and the Q&A fields are open. As we wait for questions to come in, one question that we do get pretty frequently, given the news and what's happening in our nation's capital, one question that does come up is, are the funds that provide the rebates for these EV charger programs and this technical advising program, are those at risk due to any federal changes? And I'd be happy to let Edbert answer that question. Edbert, if you want to come back on camera or unmute yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, there you go.
It looks like my camera isn't working, but okay, I'll leave it off for now. So the funds are fortunately not affected by the federal landscape right now. So our funding is like healthy and it's well insulated from the current changes in this time, at least, you know. So we have plenty of funding, so please apply for our programs.
Which is to say, if you're considering accessing these programs, this is a really good time to move forward because the money is there. It is there to help those early adopters. But, you know, down the road, that may change. But for now, there's definitely money, and it's not going to be affected by what's happening in Washington, D.C. Let's see. There was a question in here that I thought was kind of interesting. Chris Ferrara had asked how many attendees on the call are multifamily property managers or owners. And if you want to just put a reaction you can use this right here. You can use this little feature right here to just do a little that, or you can do a thumbs up to let us know if you're a property manager or owner. Let's see. Any other questions? Tell you what, we'll stick around for a few more minutes if anyone does want to stay on the call and submit any kind of questions or chat. We'd be happy to answer those questions. But in the meantime, we can go ahead and just go ahead and let everyone know that the main points we want you to take away from today are that there's money to help you install EV chargers to offset those installation costs. And there's also complimentary design assistance, free technical advising that's paid for by Alameda Municipal Power. It's available to Alameda Municipal Power customers. Definitely let us know. We would be happy to help you. As you heard from Steve Smith earlier, we're a fun bunch to work with. I think we're fun to work with. But that's all we have for today, unless we see any more questions come in. But if you would like to get in touch with us, you can scan that QR code or reach out directly to Sam. There's his email and phone number. You can also visit us online. And we really appreciate everyone taking the time to join us today. And like I said, we'll stick around for a few more minutes if anyone wants to hang back and ask us any questions. Otherwise, thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. And we look forward to connecting with you very, very soon. Thanks so much, everybody.
Okay, I'm seeing Jim. He's got a 4-unit property. He's on Everett Street, 1 block east of Park Street. That's 1 block outside the covered area. Broadway seems like a more natural cutoff. Any chance of moving the boundary to there? Gosh, Jim, I wish we could. Is Jim not on the call anymore? Is this,
I
No.
do see a
Okay.
Jim.
Okay. So I sure wish we could, Jim. That's a great question. That's a social justice 40 designation, which is a federal designation.
Oh, he's still.
And so I don't think we have any, I mean, I'm sure we don't have any control over those borders. Edbert, anything else to add on that front?
Jim, why don't you send us your address specifically, and then we can look into it and try to see what we can work with.
And that email address is in the chat right now. You can also email us at amp.ev@clearresult.com, and ClearResult only has one R in the middle. Yeah, we'd be happy to help you, Jim. Definitely reach out to us.
And if you're open, sorry, George, but
go ahead.
just last comment for Jim. I mean, if you're open to the possibility of it not being incentivized and are still interested in technical assistance, that's certainly available to you as well.
Jim says, yes, he will send the address. Thank you. Excellent. There was a comment on here from George who says, I'm a tenant/renter preparing to pitch my landlord to install chargers. Thanks for the info. Yeah, feel free to reach out to us. We would be happy to coordinate, a program overview call with your landlord or property manager. It's definitely something that we're happy to do. And make sure that you provide, really great information. But yeah, we love it when tenants and renters are engaged and kind of pushing their landlords or property managers to make the investment.
And this is a great deck to have as you're making the pitch yourself to the tenant. And if you can get their buy-in, like George said, we would be happy to conduct a call similar to this one, an introductory call for the landlords themselves, where we would review program particulars like we did today.
Just to let everyone know, we will be sending out this presentation as a PDF after the presentation. And we do include some appendices and resources here for you. So there's the AMP Trade Allies, as well as if you're interested in just learning more about installing EV chargers at your facility. The San Francisco Public Utility Commission, or the SFPUC, published several fact sheets that you might find helpful. And you just scan that QR code and scroll to the bottom of that page, and it'll show you a bunch of options there. And I don't see any more questions in the chat. I don't see anything else in the Q&A. How about we'll give it just another minute and then we'll wrap up. All right, well, thank you everyone for taking the time to join today, and we look forward to connecting with you very soon. Have a great rest of the day and a great weekend, and thanks so much. Bye for now.
Thanks, George. Bye, everybody.
You.